By finishing the wall. Is this?
We are not finishing the wall.
By filling in, finishing?
We are not finishing the wall.
By filling in. Is this racist?
I am Kamala Harris. My pronouns are she and her. I am a woman sitting at the table wearing a blue suit.
It's been caused, obviously, anxiety based upon your social media taste.
It's definitely not a wall. It's a life-saving device. The Biden administration is definitely finishing it. Nancy Pelosi goes to Taiwan, maybe. There's a drag queen show in a church that's getting a bunch of play. Some dude got arrested for a social media post in the UK, and a whole lot more on this episode of Daily Caller Live. Thanks so much for tuning in. My name is Jobob. Daily Caller Live starts right now.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
That might be the only brown guy on earth named Jobob.
That is actually their name, Jobob.
Live from the dingy bunker, completely cut off from the outside world, except for you fine folks. My name is Jobob. This is Daily Caller Live. On today, it is August 1st, the year of our Lord 2022. We got a lot coming up for you today. Sorry we were off the last, 2 days. Thursday, Friday, took some time off. Wild weekend that I'll have to tell you about at a later date, inevitably. Yeah, we're back and we're ready to rock and roll. So missed a couple things last week, so we got to get to those today. I think this is one of the funnier things going on right now. So we've been talking a lot about definitions and definition changes. Obviously, the gender thing is still out and about, but also we're just changing definitions for everything. The not time honored, but the very, very old use of the definition of recession was changed last week, according to the Biden administration. Now, by the way, it didn't actually change. They're just trying to change it to make themselves not look as bad. GDP went down again. We are in a recession. We'll get to more of that later, talking about Nancy Pelosi giving the definition of a recession just a couple years ago. When it actually was a recession, and this also is a recession. I wouldn't panic, by the way, about this whole recession thing. I'm just saying they're trying to change all the definitions, and that came again the last White House press briefing with KJP. I'm going to get that acronym right one of these days. Karine Jean-Pierre, KJP, talking about a wall. So just so you know, if you're watching this picture right here is not a wall. It is a life-saving device, according to the White House press secretary. The White House sparred with Fox News' Peter Doocy. Now, this is somewhat of long clips. We're going to break this up as to not bore you entirely, but it was worth playing like the entire thing. It's not a wall. It's a life-saving device. Now, just to preface this with what's going on, the Biden administration, if you don't remember during the campaigns, made sure that they were not going to, at any point, build any more wall. Now, here's the problem, is they're building a ton more wall. Joe Biden himself said, not another foot during the debates. This is from Fox News. Not another foot. Those are the words of Joe Biden used as a mantra throughout his 2020 presidential campaign regarding the construction of the U.S.-Mexico border wall. But on Thursday, the Biden administration approved a plan to complete a section of the border wall nearing Yuma, Arizona. Hold on. That sounds like another foot. I could be wrong, but it sounds like another foot. The plan includes filling 4 major gaps in the wall that will continue to allow the Yuma area to be one of the busiest corridors in the corridors for illegal immigration. That continue to allow the Yuma area to be the biggest crossing area. Bottom line is, the article goes on a little bit longer. Bottom line is, they're building more wall, is what it is. Now listen to Peter Doocy sparring with KJP, the White House press secretary, in this fascinating exchange of trying to say, no, it's not a wall, but it is a wall, but it's not, and we're not building a wall, we're just filling in gaps on the wall that isn't a wall, it's a life-saving device. Check this out. Also, if you haven't, by the way, would really, really appreciate it if you click on the little like button, the little reacty button, give me a comment, or let us know what you think about the show, or click the little share button. Really, really does help us out with the whole algorithms, whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, wherever you're at. Wouldn't mind, or would love to have you do that. Anyways, here's that exchange. Watch this.
Why is the Biden administration building a border wall in Arizona?
So we are not finishing the wall. We are cleaning up the mess the prior administration left behind in their failed attempt to build a wall. And I just want to be very, very clear here. On day one, we returned the money, the $8 billion the prior administration took from our military. We gave that back to the military for military families, for schools, for bases. That's what that money was being used. That's what it was taken away from. And so again, what we're doing is cleaning up the mess that the prior administration has done.
Okay, so here's something that maybe will give a little credit to KJP. As I've often stated on this show since she took the job, since Jen Psaki decided to go make $1 gajillion over at MSNBC, since KJP took the job, I've said, you know what, she's not very good at this. And that's not any policy thing. I obviously disagree a lot on the policy side, but she's just not good at the job, at being able to spin questions in a way that other White House press secretaries have done in the past. Again, the White House press secretary position is a weird job. We, as the American taxpayer, hire somebody to lie to us on behalf of the president that we elected. Doesn't make any sense to me, but that's what it is. Anyways, this is a sign that she might be getting a little bit better. Did you see that little spin there? Well, we gave the money back. Unfortunately, though, Peter Doocy continued to press on, and it didn't get any better for the White House. Check this out.
But President Biden, when he was a candidate, said that there will not be another foot of wall constructed in my administration. Yeah. So what changed?
We are not finishing the wall.
If walls work in that part of Arizona, is this the administration trying to get migrants to cross somewhere else, like in Texas? What is the plan?
We are not finishing a wall. We are cleaning up the mess that the prior administration made. We are trying to save lives. This is what the prior administration left behind that we are now cleaning up.
Okay, so then she didn't do so great on that one. We're cleaning up the mess the prior administration left. This is not a wall. It is a life-saving device. In the same way that a respirator or ventilator saves lives of Americans, the wall, saves lives of illegal immigrants crossing into the United States. I'm not entirely sure the rationale there, but that is what it is. Now, I wanted to get to this. There's more clips of this. Again, I know this is long, but I think all of it is interesting and fascinating. KJP tweeted this several years ago when Donald Trump was in office. And this leads us into the next question that Peter Doocy from Fox News is going to ask. KJP tweeted this: "Where are the pesos for your bigoted wall?" And tagged President Trump in it. That was what the White House press secretary, the current White House press secretary, who apparently didn't think that she would be the White House press secretary. She probably wouldn't have tweeted dumb things like that, but just saying, watch what you tweet. Probably myself included. I don't know. I probably tweeted something ridiculous 5 or 10 years ago that will come up eventually when I'm the White House press secretary for Ron DeSantis in 2028. And I'm going to stop. All right. Anyways, the KJP said, "Where are the pesos for your bigoted wall?" which led Peter Doocy into this question. Watch this.
By finishing the wall. Is this?
We are not finishing the wall.
By filling in, finishing?
We are not finishing the wall.
By filling in. Is this racist? Because in 2019, when the former guy was proposing a wall, he said that it was his racist wall. So how is this any different? I'm just having a hard time understanding how this is any different.
I'm not even sure how you get to your first question to this question that you just asked me. I will say this: a border wall. I'm answering your question. A border wall is ineffective use of taxpayer dollars. So it's ineffective of taxpayer dollars that actually went to the military, that the last administration, the prior president, took from the military, which took away from schools, which took from military bases. That's what that money that he pulled away from to build this wall that he wanted, that is ineffective, by the way, which I just said. Just recently, CBP reported that new bollard fencing along the southwest border was breached 3,272 times between fiscal year of 2019 and 2021, requiring $2.6 million in repairs. It's ineffective. We are not finishing a wall. We are cleaning up the mess that the last administration made.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So just so you know too, I look at politics and this media type of spin kind of as a sport, which probably, I don't know, maybe that's a good thing or a bad thing. Basically, I can't get any more cynical. So I look at this thing as a game being played by people in DC, including people on the right. It's all a game. It's a bunch of hullabaloo about nothing. Generally, unfortunately, it impacts people's everyday life, which is crazy. But she tried spinning it. She's getting better at that sort of thing, but then went back to the whole it's ineffective thing. The plan for the 4 major gaps in the wall, that's not a wall, according to KJP, will continue along the Yuma area to be one of the busiest. I just read that part. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas authorized the new plan, which was started by the Trump administration in an effort to deploy modern, effective border measures and improve safety and security along the southwest border, the agency said. Mind blown. Who would have thought? The project, now this is where KJP spun it kind of effectively before she spun herself into a circle, probably making herself dizzy and then vomiting words that didn't make any sense, like they were ineffective. But you said the budget thing. Now that is kind of an interesting point. The President Trump and the Trump administration, because they couldn't for some reason get funding for the border wall, took it out of the military, which people can make the argument, well, Homeland Defense, all of that sort of stuff. Anyways, the project will be funded under Homeland Security's 2021 budget, though it was initially planned to be funded through the Defense Department. Kind of an interesting point. But then again, she goes on, spins herself in a circle, makes herself dizzy, and says, but it's ineffective. Okay, so then why are you doing it? If it is ineffective, and it's not, but if it is ineffective, and those are your words calling it ineffective, what are we doing here? It sounds like, you know what it sounds like? It sounds like my wife and I, late in the evening, I want to go to bed, and she says, you need to do the dishes before you go to bed. And I throw a hissy fit and say, no, I'm not doing the dishes. I will not do a single other dish as long as I live. And then I slowly realize that she's right, and I start doing the dishes, and she says, well, looks like you're doing the dishes. And I say, nope, I'm implementing a strategy to restock the dish cabinet that is low on supplies. That's what I'm not doing the dishes. That's not what I'm doing. That's basically what it sounds like here. But the Biden administration said not another foot. I'm gonna play this one more clip before we move on, because I know we got to talk about a bunch of other stuff. Some dude got arrested for a social media post, so stick around after this clip for that story, because that's bananas. Didn't happen in the United States, but still crazy. Here is, just in case anyone was wondering or needed video proof of it, Joe Biden saying not another foot of wall will be built in an interview when he was running for president just a couple years ago. Watch this.
Trump campaigned on build that wall. Are you willing to tear that wall down?
No, there will not be another foot of wall constructed on my administration.
What
That's
about
where
the
all the
land
bad stuff is
confiscations? What about the land confiscations?
End, stop, done, over, not going to do it. Withdraw the lawsuits. We're out. We're not going to confiscate the land.
So there's that from the former candidate, now President Joe Biden, about the not a wall. I want to get on to, let me see. Oh, interesting comment here. Well, a lot of interesting comments here, especially with all of the people flooding across the border. A lot of people giving numbers, which we've talked about a number of times. So I appreciate you bringing that up again. Between like 150 and 200,000 people crossing the border like every single month, which is insane. But they're not building a wall. They are fixing the last administration's mistakes, whatever the heck that means. All right, I want to move on to this because this is crazy. This is happening in a first world country, a world global power, the UK. Some guy was arrested for a social media post that he shared. This moment that you're about to watch is an Army veteran who was arrested by police for, you're not going to believe this, causing anxiety, says the cop, after retweeting a picture of a swastika made out of pride flags on social media. Now, this is not an endorsement of whatever it is that he posted. I didn't even see the picture that he posted. I don't think the Daily Mail included that in their article. But it's not an endorsement of what he posted. But you should be able to post it. If there was some guy that said, I don't know, Samoans smell bad, I don't think they should be arrested for it. I disagree wholeheartedly. I take personal, I don't want to say personal offense. I take good care of my hygiene, I think, most of the time. But if somebody said that on social media, they should be allowed to say it. As long as you're not threatening violence against a person or a group, you should be able to say it. But this guy got arrested for sharing something on social media. Now, watch this interaction between him and the cops. You'll hear the cop at the very end say why he's being arrested. And again, it is crazy that this is happening. If you haven't already, would really, really appreciate it if you click the little like button or the little share button or just comment, engage. What do you think of this particular story? Are there any social media posts, if you were in the UK, that you would have gotten arrested for? Let us know in the comment section. Would love to see those. It really, really does help us out, so I really appreciate you doing that. Anyways, watch this clip of this dude getting arrested for sharing something, I believe, on Twitter. Watch this.
No. The Hampshire police would realise how ridiculous this is.
It is ridiculous.
It is. Good. I'm glad
to come to this.
What did it need to come to?
Tell us why you escalated it to this level, because I don't understand. I posted something that he posted. You come to arrest me. You don't arrest him. Why has it come to this? Why am I in cuffs? Because of something he shared, then I shared.
Because someone has been caused, obviously, anxiety based upon your social media post. That's why you've been arrested.
Somebody has had anxiety based on what you posted. I think I could use this to my benefit. Joe Biden the other day posted something about spending $2.5 trillion more to the Build Back Better 2.0 plan. That causes me a severe amount of anxiety, considering inflation is already what it is, the debt is already what it is, and I don't think we as Americans can pay back that debt. This causes me severe anxiety. Should Joe Biden be arrested for that? But this is actually kind of interesting. So I was curious about what does the law actually say in the UK about this sort of thing, and it actually gets kind of interesting. This is your big government nonsense rules. Darren Brady, who's 51, has slammed Hampshire police for impeding on his right to free speech after he was placed into handcuffs on Friday at his home in Aldershot for sharing a meme. An officer who told Brady he was being apprehended because he posted a post that caused anxiety and has been temporary and had been reported to authorities. In the video shot on a phone, Mr. Brady is heard saying, "Why am I being arrested? Why am I in cuffs?" The officer said it didn't have to come to this, and this is just describing what just happened in the video that you had just watched. Let me see. Sorry, got a text message that. So I'll explain why we were off the last couple days eventually, but sorry, flustered a little bit. They approached Brady, yada, 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 yada. Okay, so here's this other guy. This other guy, Mr. Miller, was also arrested for a similar sort of thing. Without going into this big, long article, I'm going to just explain what happened. This other dude was arrested for the same sort of thing. Now, when he was arrested, this other guy named Mr. Miller, he was given the option to either go to jail or pay, I believe, £80, UK currency, in order to take an education course to avoid being arrested and possibly charged with a criminal offense. This guy in the article says that this other dude, Mr. Brady, who was just arrested, is only being arrested in an attempt to shake him down out of £80. You can, I guess, buy your way out of being arrested for posting a meme on the internet if you attend an education course to avoid criminal offense. Let's see. Brady told his followers, "It's nice to enjoy Sunday morning in peace without being harassed by Hampshire police trying to extort me for money or having me re-educated for sharing a meme on the internet." Bottom line here is, apparently in the UK, they're not necessarily arresting and jailing people, but what these guys are both saying is this is a shakedown. And if you post something that may cause somebody anxiety, which I have already stated, Joe Biden's plans to increase the national debt to the extent that he has, and anybody who increases the national debt to the extent that they do, causes me severe anxiety and should be locked up and put in jail forever. Just kidding, kind of. But they're saying that this is all just a shakedown to get people to pay into this re-education class to avoid jail time. This is crazy. Kevin says, oh, look, 1984 re-education camp. Yeah, yep, yes. Now, speaking of things that caused me severe anxiety over the weekend, or at last week, since I didn't get to bring this on Thursday or Friday, this is a clip of Kamala Harris, again, that has caused me severe anxiety. If this also causes you severe anxiety and therefore leads to the arrest of the vice president, let me know in the comment section. We can collectively report this crazy thing that she said causing anxiety. Watch this.
Good afternoon. I want to welcome these leaders for coming in to have this very important discussion about some of the most pressing issues of our time. I am Kamala Harris. My pronouns are she and her. I am a woman sitting at the table wearing a blue suit. And
trying to out-woke everyone. The vice president just did there, saying that I'm Kamala Harris, I am a woman, she, her pronouns, and I'm wearing a blue suit. Not sure who that's for or why she's doing it, but appears she's trying to out-woke people, which causes me severe anxiety. I don't know if that also causes you severe anxiety, but according to UK law, that is grounds for arrest. You know what else has been causing me anxiety over the last couple days is this nonsense. So we talked earlier about the show about people trying to change definitions, trying to change the definition of a wall, trying to change the definition of a woman and a man and all of these sorts of things. What was it, last Friday? So not this past Friday, the Friday before that. Merriam-Webster added another component into their definition of a woman, which says, oh, a woman is the opposite of a man, which is a circular definition that will never work. But the idea of changing definitions is yet again in the limelight as the GDP has shrunk for the second quarter. Now, when GDP shrinks 2 quarters in a row, that's called a recession. Now, recession, just so you know, is not necessarily the boogeyman. Generally speaking, recessions happen. Sometimes they hurt really bad. Sometimes you don't even notice them. I, not being super old, have lived through a lot of recessions. And it's hasn't really affected me at all, personally. Maybe it has for you. What's the saying? If you kept your job, it's a recession. If you lost your job, it's a depression. Yeah. Anyways, bottom line is we are in a recession, but at the same time, that's not necessarily a reason to panic. Just so we're clearing the air here. Having said that, 2 quarters in a row of GDP shrinkage is called a recession. And Nancy, a couple years ago, said so herself. Watch Nancy give the definition of a recession, which she is now backtracking because she doesn't want the administration to look bad. Watch this.
And so while they may have saved the second quarter from a technical definition of recession, the fact is we are now into the third quarter, and we need to have another stimulus package.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so that actually was Nancy
and so
Pelosi.
While they may have saved...
that was Nancy Pelosi basically saying, technically, since it was the second quarter and the second quarter did not decrease in GDP, we still need a stimulus package. I think this was in like 2000, I don't know, 9, who knows. But yeah, anyways, everybody agrees 2 quarters in a row, recession, that's a bad thing. But here's what else I want to talk about with Nancy. And this is, again, we talked about this, Wednesday last week? But now Nancy is on the move and possibly going to Taiwan. I disagree with Nancy Pelosi on pretty much every policy. I don't think she's a good person. I think she is the human version of the mythical Wicked Witch of the West. Having said that, here's something that I think we can agree on, me and Nancy Pelosi. Go to Taiwan. If you're not familiar with this story and weren't paying attention last week, that's totally fine. Nancy Pelosi said a couple weeks ago, that she was going to go to Taipei, Taiwan, the capital of the island nation that sits off the coast of China. China believes that Taiwan is part of mainland China. Taiwan is a completely separate, entirely individually operated country that exists outside of China. They want to make sure that they maintain their independence, and part of that is relying on U.S. and Japanese and several other allies to do so. Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House, said that she was going to go to Taiwan. The Chinese government said, "You better not." And the Biden administration was trying to talk Nancy out of going to Taiwan. Now, Pelosi and a delegation of congressional members are in Southeast Asia and expected to maybe go to Taiwan. This is from CNN. The statement Pelosi's public itinerary made no mention of Taiwan, but senior Taiwanese government officials and U.S. officials told CNN Monday that she's expected to visit Taiwan as a part of the tour of Asia. It is unclear when exactly Pelosi will land in Taipei. The stop will be the first of a U.S. speaker in 25 years, comes at a time when Chinese relations with the U.S. are already at a low. The Chinese officials added that she is expected to stay in Taiwan. Taiwanese officials expected to stay in Taiwan overnight. Bottom line is this: Nancy's going to Taiwan, supposedly, according to a bunch of different people within the Taiwanese government and the U.S. government. The Chinese Communist Party, which claims Taiwan is a territory, has repeatedly warned against Pelosi visiting the island, vowing to take resolute and forceful measures if the trip goes ahead. I agree with Nancy Pelosi. If you want to go to Taiwan, tell China to pound sand. So there's that. Yeah, we can get into more of this. That's the bottom line. The bottom line is whether or not whether or not Nancy Pelosi goes to Taiwan, whether or not China decides to do anything, is the big thing. I want to get to this as more people are jumping on, watching. I know, really appreciate you all sticking around and checking this out. This video is going around the internet, all over Twitter the last couple days. It is not entirely new, but since it has a ton of traction right now, I wanted to talk about it. This video happened in April. A drag show in New York City was given to? I don't know. There was a drag show at a high school, at a church in New York City. Students at Manhattan's Grace Church High School are required to attend chapel every other Wednesday. And on April 27th, that meant attending a Pride event. The 6th annual Pride Chapel featured a guest drag queen, Britta Filter. Okay. Students felt pressured to join, dance, and celebrate, while teachers took the opportunity to announce their resignation over improper pronoun usage. So there's that. Here's this video that you've probably seen going around Twitter and on Instagram the last couple days. Again, not necessarily the newest thing, but I guess since it didn't get any traction then, it's getting traction now. We'll play it. Avert your eyes if you don't like seeing insanity personified. Check this out.
Her name is Britta Filter, and she is the Queen of New York! Yeah!
Here's the other thing. Okay, so to put all of this aside. Let's put the whole indoctrinating kids and everything aside, even though we'll talk about it, it's very important, all that sort of stuff. I don't understand what is so impressive about this. Nothing that I saw in that video I could not do myself, and 99.9% of everybody in the world can do. This is not an ableist rant here, just so you stupid idiots that'll take it that way. I'm so confused. They walked down the center of the church thing, strutting, which is not a talent, and just didn't do anything. I don't know. Can you juggle? Can you do a magic trick? Can you sing well? Can anything be done other than dressing up and walking? I think we all do that on Halloween. I don't understand why that's impressive. Anyways, according to the students who asked not to be identified, this is from the Post-Millennial, Britta entered from the back of the church after remarks by the chaplain and faculty member saying, as the disco hit, "I Will Survive," echoed through the corridors. Clad in electric orange go-go boots and high-hemmed baby doll dress, they proceeded to strut and sashay down the aisle as if it were a runway. Students began dancing in the pews. Others did not want to join in. Again, back to my not main point. The main point is the indoctrination and the craziness that's going on in our school systems, even in private schools. But one of the bigger points is I don't understand how this is impressive. Can I also get paid to do this? I have to go give speeches at places, and I do that willingly, and I like doing it. But at the same time, if I don't have to prepare any remarks and I could just walk in and be celebrated, I'd love that. Where is that job opportunity? One student reported that the performer approached the altar and was joined by more dancing students, some of them twerking. Bringing drag into the classrooms and schools has been touted as by its proponents as a way to educate on queer culture. Okay. I wanted to get into this other thing, but maybe we'll leave this for tomorrow. The basis of this, the crux of it, is transgender care. The FDA, transgender care. The FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, added multiple warnings to some of the puberty blockers going to kids. This is not shocking by any stretch of the imagination, but yeah, we'll get into more in depth in that tomorrow. Basically, the Food and Drug Administration said, giving your children hormones as puberty blockers has some pretty nasty side effects. Wow, who would have thought? This is shocking information. We'll get into more of that tomorrow. That's going to do it for us today. Appreciate you tuning in, sticking around, watching the episode. Just a brief explanation. Well, I'm not entirely sure how to handle this. My dad has been sick for a while. Took a turn for the worse on Wednesday of last week. And Thursday and Friday, we weren't here doing the show. He's stable as of right now at home. But have been spending a lot of time at home with the family. Fortunately, my parents only live about 30 minutes down the road from where our studio is located. But anyways, we'll talk about more of that later. My dad's a great dude, hanging in there. My mom's been very supportive and appreciate. I know some of you know and have in the comment section have mentioned that, so I appreciate all the prayers and well wishes being sent our family's way. We'll try and continue to remain doing the show. I know it's kind of bumps in the roads, difficult situation to be involved in right now, but that's kind of what's going on. Again, we can talk more about that at a later date. But appreciate all you sticking around, tuning in, and watching each and every day, even when we take some off days. So let's see. If you haven't already, give me a follow on any of your social media accounts at JOBOB, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Getter, Twitter, Truth Social, all of these social media accounts. Appreciate a follow and also sending stories along that I don't see. There's, what was it? There was something recently that like 3 people sent me on Instagram, like, oh yeah, that's got to get on here. I can't remember because of brain fog. I don't know. But yeah, that's the best way to do it. any social media accounts. If you haven't already, I would love it. Just click the little like button, the little share button. Really, really appreciate you doing so. It helps us get to as many people as possible and continue doing this show, which I love doing each and every morning. We might be, I don't know, things change every hour at this point. So maybe we'll be doing the show tomorrow from a different location, but hoping to still get here and do Daily Caller Live tomorrow. Wednesday. If you live in Southern California, I will be at a church 412 in Murrieta, California, right near Temecula, with Pastor Tim Thompson, talking politics, talking religion, all that sort of stuff. If you're around, would love to see you there. Outside of that, any other announcements I got? Yeah, been an interesting last couple days. Appreciate you sticking with me. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, possibly different place. See you then. God bless America.